Hi everyone. I'm just waiting for confirmation that my sound is now working. Okay, I'm so sorry. I was broadcasting away and have just realized that something wasn't working. This is a new setup for us, so please do comment in the chat if it's currently not working for you. And yeah, so thank you for joining us and thanks for hanging around while I get my technology working. So I'm Ysolda. I'm the designer and founder behind Ysolda.com. And today I'm going to be showing our latest pattern release, the Porty Hat, which I have here. And this is a really fun pattern. If you have made musselburgh before, or you've looked at it, this is our musselburgh hat, then we're hoping that the Porty Hat will have the same kind of appeal as a project, that it's great to knit if you're on a Zoom call or commuting. It's got a little bit of, that you have to pay attention to at the beginning, and then a lot of knitting where you can go round and round. You don't have to focus too much. So the Porty Hat is a ribbed beanie, and it's knit starting at the top with a disappearing loop cast on or a pinhole cast on, or you can use the Emily Ocker method. If you are new to the casting on from the center out, we do have a tutorial for the disappearing loop cast on our blog. And then once you've cast on, you work some increases at 4 points. And then the really great thing about this pattern is that it's written for 7 different gauges and you don't need to swatch. So once you've increased until you're about here, then you'll grab a ruler and you'll just measure your gauge right on the project. And because it's 1 by 1 rib, it can be really hard to tell how much should you stretch your ribbing. So we've found it worked better to just measure the knit stitches, and that kind of lies flat. So a little bit unusual. And then you'll go to your pattern with that gauge, and there are tables where you can pick out your gauge, your size, and find the number that you need for how many increase rounds to do. And once you've increased to the final stitch count for your size, you're just knitting around and around until your hat is the desired length. And the pattern itself does include different lengths for each size, and you can also kind of just keep going until it's the length you want. This version with the pom-pom, I really like a little bit of an extra poof on top with the pom-pom with a bit of extra length. So it's really easy to customize. And some of our preview knitters also made it shorter without the turned up brim, and that was super cute as well. So if you're just joining us, thanks for joining. I'm Ysolda Teague. I'm the designer behind Ysolda.com, and I've been designing for about 15 years. And today I'm sharing our latest pattern release, the Porty Hat, which came out today. If you want to purchase the hat, we've got links in the comments and a coupon code for you. And I've also been talking a little bit about the musselburgh hat pattern, which is kind of the sister pattern to Porty. It's also a swatchless hat that works in lots of different yarn weights. So we made 5 samples of the Porty hat. This one here is Preseli from Garthenor in the colorway Koi. This is a really beautiful fingering 4-ply weight with a kind of heathered colorway, and this is quite a light fingering, so that's probably about the lightest weight yarn you'd want to use for the hat. And that came out so lovely. It's a great fabric. And then we have a DK weight version from Neighborhood Fiber Company. This is their Studio DK in the colorway Charles Center. And we also used their worsted weight version of that yarn in the colorway Upton. And this is such a great semi-solid black, a little more interesting to knit than solid black, and just perfect for the person in your life who just wants a plain black hat. So the pattern goes up to chunky or bulky weight gauges. So for this one, we used Rerum Natura Cyrano in Plume. This is one of my all-time favorite yarns. It's such a good squishy fabric. And finally, our last sample is a bulky version, and this is Lion Brand's Hue Me in the colorway Rosewater. And this one, as I said before, is a little bit longer than the lengths given in the pattern. And we did manage to get the smaller of the two adult sizes and this nice big pleasing pom-pom out of one bowl. So it's a great one skein project. And we didn't give exact yardage in the pattern because there are so many variables of how long you make it or exactly what your gauge for your yarn is. But what we have found is that all of our samples and all of our preview knits use less than 100 grams. So if you have 100 grams of anything in your stash that you don't know what to do with, then the Porty hat is a really great option. So I'm just gonna switch to sharing my screen so I can show you how the pattern itself works. And one thing you'll notice when you download the pattern is that you get 3 different PDF versions. So we have our traditional kind of print layout here, with columns, and it works really well to print on A4 or letter size paper, or if you're using a mobile device, on a tablet. And then we have a mobile version. I'm just going to make that a bit bigger so you can see. And that's really optimized for using on your phone, because I don't know about you, but I pretty much only knit from my phone these days. And I was getting tired of zooming in and out on this sort of print layout. And then finally, let me just close that. Finally, we have a low vision optimized format. So this is really optimized for if you are looking at it full screen, or you print it out on regular size paper, then you'll get some really nice big text. One thing about this layout as well, if I skip forward a bit, is that we don't use tables in this layout, so it's more accessible. So if that's something that you or a friend of yours might need, then that's something we're adding to new patterns and going back and adding to our older patterns where we can. So hopefully that's helpful. And then if I just make the mobile view full screen here, I just wanted to show you kind of how the pattern works. So when you've knit a few rounds and done some increases and you're ready to measure your gauge, then you'll pick the size you're making. Maybe you're making the kid's size and you're getting four stitches per inch. That's 4 knit stitches. Then you know that you are, how many times you're repeating your increase rounds, and then it gives you the total number of stitches you should have in each segment, and then the total stitches. So that's basically how the multi-gauge pattern works. I know we've had some questions about that. And if you are interested in learning more of the techniques that we use in both Musselburgh and the Porty hat, Musselburgh is this sort of 2-layer version in stockinette, and then the porty hat is this 1x1 rib. They use a lot of the same techniques in terms of the casting on from the center out, the increasing, how to follow a multi-gauge pattern. So if you are interested in learning more about that, we are launching next week. We'll be doing a webinar, a sort of learning webinar, walking you through all of the techniques used with live video. I'll show you exactly how I do each technique, and then you'll have a replay to watch anytime you need to, so you can go back and go through those, and hopefully that will make you feel really confident to tackle these projects. And if you want to sign up for the webinar, we've got a link in the comments. It goes through everything that you'll learn in the webinar, and you can sign up for that. So that is happening on the 7th of November at 8 p.m. And the platform we're using for that is also really great for interaction. You can ask questions at any point throughout it, and then our host, Bex, who manages all of our pattern production, so she knows the patterns inside out, but she will put your questions to me sort of at the end, or interject when it's appropriate. So I'm hoping that if you are interested in tackling one of these swatchless hats, but you want to learn more of the techniques involved before getting started, that our swatchless hat webinar will be just what you need. And if you're interested in learning more about knitting, about our patterns, then you might want to join the Ysolda Knitwork, which is absolutely free to join. We've got a link in the comments and also on our website. And it's our learning community, so when you log in, you'll see sort of an activity feed of posts. This is our intro post for the porty hat, and then we've also got topics for where we share tutorials, we chat, we share knit-alongs that are happening, and then we also have some sort of learning groups. So we have a group dedicated to Ishbel and to our free beginner shawl workshop. So if you're interested in shawl knitting, that would be really great to join. And then we have some groups that are paid for groups where we share tutorials related to the Brunston Sweater Club, and it's sort of an ongoing knit along. And then we've got the Colourwork Club, which is perfect if you are interested in learning colourwork. So if you haven't joined the Knitwork, I know some of you are coming to this event via the Knitwork, but we are working on more content for the Knitwork with more events and more courses. So it's free to join, and there's a link to that in the comments as well. So if you are just joining us, I am going to switch back to my full screen webcam so you can see me properly. And if you're just joining us, I'm Ysolda Teague. I'm the designer and founder of Ysolda.com, and I wanted to introduce you tonight to our latest pattern, the porty hat, which I'm pretty excited about. And it is a swatchless multi-gauge pattern. It's written for 7 different gauges, covering almost any yarn from fingering to bulky weight. And it also includes 4 sizes from babies to an adult large. And it is the sister pattern to our popular Musselburgh pattern, which I have here. And they are both perfect projects for Zoom calls, TV, commuting, just that project where you need to always have something in your bag. So this is the porty hat, and you'll find a link to that in the comments with a coupon code for you, and that came out today. And to show you how amazingly versatile the pattern is, I just wanted to thank our preview knitters who did an amazing job of showing how creative you can get with the pattern and how well it works in all kinds of different yarns. And we've got a roundup of all our Preview Knitters projects in both the Knitwork and on our blog. I'm just going to switch over to the blog, and we've got a great roundup of all of their projects, so you can go and take a look at how it looks in variegated yarns, worn without the brim folded up, in different colors. This one is an amazing version that Winnie, who's Bok Choy Knits on Instagram, made with sort of a marled body and then this striped brim. I love that. And we also have some great striped projects. This one is in Gauge Dye Works self-striping. So if you want to check out all of the amazing projects made by our Preview Knitters, we've got a link to that blog post in the comments as well. So just to wrap up, if you did join partway through or you're just joining now, we will make sure that this goes up on YouTube as a recording so that you can go back and start from the beginning. And for those of you who were waiting around for a while at the beginning, where I was quite happily talking away to myself, and while my spouse was frantically calling me to tell me that nothing was broadcasting, thanks so much for sticking around. So this was the pretty hat. It's our new pattern today. There is a link in the comments. Don't forget to use the coupon code, and thank you so much for joining me tonight.